The Headhunter, directed by Jordan Downey, emerges as a dark fantasy horror film steeped in themes of grief, vengeance, and solitude. Set in a bleak medieval realm filled with lurking monsters, the film adopts a minimalist approach characterized by sparse dialogue and a gradually unfolding narrative. The focus centers on a stoic warrior referred to as the Father, or the Headhunter, who is driven solely by his quest to hunt down the creature that brutally murdered his daughter. The film opens in a stark mist and shrouded forest where this lone armored figure roams the wilderness. He bears the scars of battle and an unyielding resolve, living in a primitive, modest hut adorned with hunting trophies, decapitated heads of the monsters he has vanquished, all mounted on spikes. Among these trophies, one spike remains conspicuously empty, symbolizing the creature he has yet to kill, the beast responsible for his daughter's death years prior. Narrative development in The Headhunter is largely visual, utilizing the environment and the man's actions to convey the story. A haunting motif permeates the film, the sound of a horn from a distant castle signaling the approach of a monster. Each time the horn sounds, the Headhunter readies himself, mounting his horse and grasping his weapons and potions, carrying out his grim duty without hesitation. Rather than showcasing explicit battles, the film presents only the aftermath. Injured and weary, the warrior returns, often dragging the slain heads of the monsters he has conquered. The film cleverly maximizes its low budget by foregoing explicit monster confrontations, instead crafting tension through atmosphere, mood, and the Headhunter's relentless pursuit. The warrior's arsenal of swords, spears, and alchemical potions reflects a life spent straddling the line between the humane and the supernatural. A significant potion serves to heal his wounds, hinting at an unnatural prolongation of his life to fuel his quest for revenge. Flashbacks punctuate the narrative, gradually uncovering the emotional foundation of the story. The loss of his daughter, killed by a mysterious horned creature, haunts him. After burying her, he places a small totem at her grave, which he keeps close to his home. This devastating loss shatters his existence, leaving vengeance as his only purpose. Over time, he dispatches many monsters, ever hopeful that the horn will summon the one that tore his family apart. The long-anticipated moment eventually arrives as the horn sounds once more. This time, however, the hunter is filled with heightened focus and emotion. He returns from his mission gravely injured yet triumphant, dragging the head of the horned creature that claimed his daughter. He believes he has finally achieved his goal, proudly displaying the trophy in his home, a powerful moment that hints at darker revelations to come. That night, a chilling turn of events unfolds as the severed head exhibits signs of life, leading to a supernatural reanimation. The unsuspecting warrior, deep in slumber, remains oblivious to the emerging danger as the head escapes his grasp and vanishes into the dark wilderness. A sense of urgency ignites within the hunter upon realizing that the malevolent force he believed he had defeated is very much alive. Fueled by determination to eliminate the threat once and for all, the Headhunter embarks on a perilous journey back into the ominous forest, pursuing the reanimated head. The oppressive atmosphere is thick with despair as the dark woods and creaking branches amplify an overwhelming sense of dread. Eventually, he encounters the head, now transformed into an incorporeal entity, taunting him with ghostly whispers. This unsettling confrontation culminates in a surreal moment when the head possesses the hunter's body, intensifying the horror of the situation. In a desperate bid to reclaim his humanity and combat the possession, the Headhunter uncovers his daughter's grave to retrieve the totem he had buried with her. This act becomes a poignant symbol of his struggle to reconnect with the essence of who he once was, standing against the encroaching darkness threatening to consume him. Alas, his efforts come too late as the monster's head has already gained the upper hand. The narrative concludes on a grim and tragic note, leaving the hunter possessed by the very evil he had dedicated his life to vanquishing. Now a mere vessel for the malevolent creature he once hunted, he finds himself mounting its severed head on a final spike within his trophy room. This act of revenge is not a source of triumph, but instead manifests as a hollow and cursed victory, stripping the hunter of peace and sentencing him to eternal suffering as a host for the creature's vile spirit. Themes and analysis. The Headhunter serves as a rich exploration of atmosphere, emotional depth, and thematic complexity. Its minimalist storytelling approach invites viewers to immerse themselves in the protagonist's profound isolation, utilizing sparse dialogue and vivid visual storytelling complemented by immersive sound design. At its core, the film grapples with themes of grief, showcasing the Headhunter's emotional stasis, forever trapped in the moment of his daughter's tragic death. Each creature he slays represents a metaphorical confrontation with his unresolved trauma, while his home becomes a shrine adorned with severed heads, tangible manifestations of his pain and obsession. Additionally, the narrative delves into the futility of vengeance, illustrating how the hunter's relentless pursuit ultimately leads to his own demise. The reanimated head stands as a powerful metaphor for the idea that trauma once encountered cannot simply be eradicated. It lingers, often resurfacing in more insidious forms. The film artfully weaves supernatural elements into its narrative, portraying themes of alchemy, resurrection, and possession. These motifs are not showcased as elaborate spectacles, but are instead intricately embedded within the grim environment of the hunter's world. The ambiguity of the concluding scenes, whether the hunter experiences a literal possession or is metaphorically consumed by his obsessive desires, deepens the film's haunting impact. From a production perspective, the film is a masterclass in minimalism. Filmed in the beautiful yet stark landscapes of Portugal and Norway on a limited budget, it effectively capitalizes on natural settings and practical effects. The handmade armor, weapons, and makeup used throughout contribute to a visceral and immersive viewing experience. Complementing this visual approach is composer Nick Sole's haunting score, which amplifies the film's melancholic tone, encapsulating the emotional and environmental desolation faced by the protagonist. While not designed for mainstream audiences, The Headhunter stands out as a unique horror film that resonates on an emotional level. Its slow pacing, sparse dialogue, and dark atmosphere create a contemplative experience rather than an action-driven one. At its core lies a profound narrative that explores grief, isolation, and the personal toll of vengeance. It invites viewers to embrace silence, to notice the subtle nuances, and to reflect on the more sinister aspects of humanity. Ultimately, The Headhunter provides a chilling depiction of what occurs when an individual becomes defined by their suffering. The path taken by the hunter is less about achieving victory and more about undergoing a transformative journey that is tragic, haunting, and indelibly impactful. It is a narrative that remains in the mind long after the film concludes. Set in a remote and desolate wilderness, the story follows a heavily armored man who lives alone. His crude hut, constructed from wood and stone, is positioned at the forest's edge with snow blanketing the ground. Inside, grim trophies adorn the walls, the severed heads of various creatures he has defeated. A nearby tree shelters a small grave marked by a handmade cross and a tiny totem, possibly that of his daughter. The warrior's existence is monotonous and stark, filled with daily routines of tending his wounds, preparing weapons, brewing potions, and enduring solitude. Each action is imbued with a sense of weariness. Suddenly his silence is disrupted by the sound of a distant horn from a far-off castle, heralding the arrival of danger. Another monster is lurking. Without a word he prepares. Donning his weathered armor, he takes up his weapons and sets off into the misty expanse, readying himself for the inevitable confrontation. Endured. The hunter's victory is bittersweet, as the head of the monstrous beast, once a symbol of his relentless pursuit, now hangs alongside the other trophies he has collected. Each head represents a battle fought, but none of them ever filled the void left by his daughter's tragic loss. The one spike left intentionally vacant serves as a constant reminder of his ultimate quest for vengeance, a quest that has consumed him for years. Days bleed into nights as the hunter continues his solitary existence. He remains a figure of few words, immersed in the ritual of preparation for the hunts that define his life. His collection grows, yet the scars upon his body are testaments to the toll taken by his endless cycle of pursuit and anguish. The grotesque salves he concocts mirror the darkness within him, crafted from bones, blood, and unspeakable ingredients. They heal his wounds but do nothing to mend the deeper rift in his heart. As he sleeps, the nightmares descend, dragging him back to fleeting memories of happiness, recollections of laughter shared with his daughter. The moments are consumed by shadows, and he is left with only pain and loss. Each dawn brings a fresh reminder, a glance at the grave outside his window where his daughter lies, further solidifying the emptiness he feels daily. Business as usual resumes, yet this time an urgent summon transforms him. The desperation in the call ignites something inside him, a sharper focus, a fleeting sense of clarity that propels him into action. He leaves with a purpose, and when he returns, his body is a tapestry of wounds, but clutched in his grasp is the hard-won trophy of the horned creature that had eluded him. At last he has claimed the head of the monster that symbolizes his grief. Mounting the severed head inside his hut fills him with an unexplainable satisfaction. This trophy does not offer the peace he craved, nor can it resurrect his daughter, but it serves as a brutal acknowledgement of his long-fought battle. As he sips the healing potion, the moment feels heavy with the weight of his actions and choices. Silence envelopes him, marking the haunting absence of joy, underscoring that in his quest for revenge he has lost more than he could ever regain. The elusive closure remains an ache in his spirit as the bitter taste of victory lingers, a solemn reflection of a father's undying love intertwined with despair. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.